Imagine watching someone you love slowly disappear. You sit in doctor's offices, you hear words like terminal, chemotherapy, and there's nothing more we can do. You Google late into the night, searching for something, anything, that might bring them comfort. Not necessarily a cure, just hope. Because when someone you love has cancer, one of the hardest feelings in the world isn't sadness, it's helplessness. Today's guest knows that feeling all too well. Myra Maldonado watched both her mother and her mother-in-law battle cancer. As they grew tired of treatments and longed for comfort and peace, Myra began searching for holistic ways to help them feel better. That search eventually became a mission. Today, she and her husband Ralph have created the Salt Caves and Spa in Lakewood Ranch, a place designed to help people slow down, breathe, heal, and reconnect with themselves. It's a story about grief, hope, purpose, and what happens when we turn our pain into service. Please welcome Myra Maldonado.
Hello, how are you?
Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. We were just having a great conversation before we started, which we'll get into. But before we do that, take us back to the moment your mother and mother-in-law were diagnosed. What was going through your mind?
Well, let's see. Both of them were diagnosed at two different times. So the first one, we kind of knew that my mother-in-law had cancer, but refused to tell us. We knew something was wrong. She was doing these, going to the doctor, very not telling us what was going on. And it was about a year into that she finally told us that she had cancer. She didn't want her son to worry about her. She worried about everybody else. She always took care of us. She cooked, even while she was sick. I mean, she did everything. And it was about a year after that, she finally told us. And that's when she started really declining because she needed more and more medication. So it was really progressed at that point.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And how about your mom? Was it
And-
both around the same time?
No, and my mother told me on my 50th birthday that they had found something on her liver and that she was going to have it checked out and she was going to let us know. It took about probably 6 months after that when she told us that they found that she had liver cancer. Now, she had already survived lung cancer, thyroid cancer, at which they had cut out a part of the lung and they had taken out the thyroid. So that was probably about 3 years before that. And so now here we are, fast forward, that they found something on her liver. So we then, once we found out all of these what was going on with my mother-in-law and with my mom, in 2022, we sold our business and came down to help them. So we're like, we don't know how long they're going to have. Let's retire.
So you were in New York then?
We were in New York, Long Island.
And they were both here in Sarasota?
And they were both down in Florida. My mother lived in Claremont and my mother-in-law lived in Orlando.
Okay.
So we had come down to Lakewood Ranch because I had a third mom. She lived in Lakewood Ranch. So we really loved the area and we were just going to travel and, go see them. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were able to be here for both of them?
So we got down in September of 22. She passed away in October. My mother-in-law passed away in October of 22.
Oh, wow.
My mother continued her journey. And it was in early 23, that she told me she wasn't going to do chemo anymore. And that's when I kind of was like, what do you mean? I don't want you to leave us. That desperation just started, my brain was like, no, you got to do something. And she's just like, I'm good. I've been doing this now for a while. I've been through it years before this, and I've been doing chemo for a while now because she had lived in Arizona before they had moved to Florida. And when she got here, that's when she was like, I'm done. So kind of like a year or two into being here in Florida, she was like, I'm done. So that's when I started Googling. I started doing the whole, don't know what I'm doing, but I don't even know what I'm Googling because it wasn't a world that we lived in. It was like a complete, what is this healthy, holistic thing that people talk about?
Right.
You're in a whole nother world. Where do you start? So it was like, Google, what can I do? Substitute for chemo. You're coming up with all these kind of different words to kind of see what pops up. And we started with Hope for Cancer. There was a place in Mexico. There was a place up in north of us here in Clearwater. And I'm telling my mom, we're going to go to Mexico. We're going to take you to Clearwater. And, at that point, my mom said, Mexico, no, because people were talking to her and saying it's a waste. You're wasting your money. It's
A
not going to
scam
work.
or
It's a
something.
scam. And then I was like, listen, there's a place in Clearwater. Let's just go see what they have to say. So we went there and she did a blood test, which was sent out to Greece. And they came back with 2 weeks later with this whole schedule. You got to be here for a week and a half. It's $52,000. You got to be here day and night. This is what we want you to do. And my mother was so funny that she just smiled and said, okay, thank you. Walked outside. I just remember her look and she's like, yeah, we're not doing this. I don't want that. So she was just okay with whatever God wanted for her. And, whatever was going to happen, she was okay with it. She was just good with her life and what
She was
she has
at peace.
accomplished. She was at peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like she
Yeah.
was like, I'm good, you know?
Yeah.
But of course, that wasn't good enough for me. So I continue to see what I could do and because I was a business owner, my husband and I owned a business prior. I'm like, what can I do to open and help? So that's when I saw a picture of a cave.
A cave.
A cave. I saw a salt
Okay.
cave and I said, okay, what is this? So salt caves it's not used for cancer, but she had asthma. So I'm like, okay, it says it's good for asthma. It's great for a nervous system reset, so she lived in that fight or flight.
Yeah.
We all live in
We
fight or
all live,
flight. So
yeah.
I was like, okay, this will be a place for her to relax. She'll spend time with me. It will help her asthma. I wanted her to disconnect. And that disconnection in itself would have been amazing for her, because we are always connected to our phones. We're connected to our TV, to people, to everything that's going on in the world, being able to disconnect and just allow your body to just be, so that was my thought process. So we just started on our journey of salt cave. And there is actually a salt cave builder, which I thought was
Okay.
amazing. I'm like, somebody does this for a living.
Thank goodness, right? I wouldn't know where to
Like,
start.
who does this for a living?
Right.
And so I talked to this woman over the phone for months while we're getting ready to get our permits and all of this. And she happened to be a doctor from Poland, a naturopath. And she lived in, she knew all about salt caves or salt mines because in Poland, that's where it started back in the 1800s. So this is not
Wow.
something that,
Yeah.
out of the blue that we decided to do. 1800s. So she just told me, I was fascinated
All the
about all the
benefits.
benefits
Yeah.
and how many she was building them all over the country and the knowledge this woman had. So my mom started on the journey with us. And she came to the first place that we started was down on Clark Road, which was a room. It wasn't a cave. And that's when I really kind of said, no, I don't want to build a room. I want to build a cave because my mom, that disconnection piece. Because when you're in the cave, it's a little different than just sitting in a room with a bed with a therapy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted it to be more than that.
More
And
immersive.
more, right.
But,
More,
yeah.
and not only her, but anybody on their journey, those people who really struggle with kind of that tuning out everything and disconnecting from everyone. Because the caves are just that amazing. I love that it disconnects everybody. So, and she loved fiction. So my mom lived in her books. She can read a thick book in a day or two. And what better what better way to create a fictional place for her to be in? So, and that's what we're doing with the rest of the rooms that now, unfortunately mom passed. And then I was left there like, oh my God, I have this place. I don't really know what I'm doing. Where do I go from here? And, God is really kind of taking us through our journey. And even to the point where I didn't know, we weren't getting any business. We opened up during the hurricane season.
So just last year?
In 24.
24.
So
it's
May
been
of 24, we
2
opened.
years. Okay.
We went into rainy season that entire summer. And then we had that flooding. What was that, Debbie or something? In Lakewood Ranch, we were underwater.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
terrible. And then went into the 2 back-to-back
Yeah,
hurricanes.
Ian and Milton.
And so we had to fund ourselves for the first year. And that's when I was like, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this,
Mm.
and I was trying to grasp at every possible, pushing myself, getting myself out there, trying to drum up business, trying to get people to come in and to a cave, which nobody understood what the cave was about,
Right.
like
Yeah.
trying to educate people and trying to get them to understand you need to get in here, you need to get in here. But I just, at some point, I just cried out and I said, okay, what do I need to do? Why am I here? And it's been pretty good since then.
You're
God
turning
has
a
been really
corner.
good turning that corner, people understanding, getting people, and that's when I kind of had to start, all right, this is what we have. Let's start building around it. So that's when I started looking into infrared saunas and cold plunges and red light. What is this? What does it do? And even changing my own lifestyle because I'm saying to myself, all right, here I'm in this business. Shouldn't I be doing the same thing? I'm here preaching it to everybody. I'm trying to tell people to get in the cave. Why am I not doing it myself? So I had to get into changing what I'm eating. Somebody who my family has high cholesterol and pre-diabetic, and I was 30 pounds heavier, and I had all of these different things going on. So it was like, all right, so now
Wow.
I have to start changing who I am and what I'm eating and what am I putting on my body and the hydrating and the water that we're drinking. So there's a whole lifestyle around this.
Yeah.
It's not even like,
I know, it's huge.
just getting into a cave.
And it always changes too. That's the other
Mhm,
thing that I find. It's hard to keep up with. I mean, but so much of it is so important for sure. So how
mhm.
many people can fit in the cave?
So we have about 12 chairs. Right now we have it set up like stadium seating in the large cave. And then we have a private cave. So for people which is good for like 2 to 4 people. So you want to come in, you want to talk. You don't wanna have anybody in the room with you. So that's the private cave, so
So the big one, you can bring a group of girls and
mhm.
have your girlfriends, and it's how long do you stay in there for?
It's 45 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can so I
Is it
think
heated? I mean, is it
it's
hot?
cold.
It's cold.
Yeah.
So how do you dress when you go in the salt cave?
So I tell everybody you wanna expose your skin. So it's great for the respiratory system, it's great for the skin. So you want to not only breathe, but you want it to fall on your skin. So shorts, skirt. I also tell them, get yourself into the salt. So the large cave is big enough where there's 6 inches on the floor of salt.
Okay.
And it's like sitting in a salt bath. So people just dig themselves in there. They do salt angels, like they do the silliest things, but they come out and they're like, "Oh my God, my skin is so soft." So yeah. So I tell them bring a sweatshirt or a jacket. We also have blankets. So if, we'll give them a blanket. So once your body, because it's a nervous system reset, once your body starts to come out of that fight or flight, that stress starts to kind of melt away, your body starts to get colder. So that's when the blankets and the sweatshirts.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and a lot of people fall asleep. Their body just needs it. It's like it just they just fall out. They just fall asleep. So it's kind of cool to see that. And I was like, yep, means your body really needed.
Needed the
It needed
rest.
to rest.
I have
Yeah.
to get in there. It sounds amazing. So you and your husband have used the word hopelessness. What does that feeling look like when you're living it?
It was the word doesn't even the feeling knowing that I was going to lose my mother. Um all I can tell you is I mean, I'm just tearing up just thinking about the word because I didn't know what to do. For me, my life, always being able to kind of come up with solutions and not being able to was very frustrating. So I didn't know what to do. So it was terrible. My whole body, going to bed and knowing that my mom might die. God, please help me. Please, what can I do? Please give me the words. Please give me direction.
It sounds like you did everything you could and
Mm,
created a beautiful space for her,
mm,
right? Before
yeah,
she passed.
yeah.
That's more than a lot of us get to do. So you should feel proud of yourself for doing what you did.
I hope that, and it's funny you say that, before my mom passed, I said, Mom, I'm almost there. And I wanted her to know that I was doing this for her. I didn't want her to leave without me. without her knowing that I was doing this for her because she had done so much for me and my family.
Mm.
So that hopelessness of not being able to for her to know that she left love, like she's leaving, but she's loved. I want her to know that.
She knew that.
Yeah.
She knew that. Did either of your mothers teach you something about courage or resilience during their cancer journeys? I'm sure they both did, one
Yeah,
way or
my
another,
goodness,
huh?
I mean, the way they didn't even want us to know. They just wanted to know that they were the strongest women that I've ever known. Going through going through something like that, I was scared. I couldn't even imagine what was going through their mind, knowing that they were dying. That be like just they definitely taught, like no matter what, you do what you have to do for your family and to be strong no matter what comes your way. So, and faith, she loved God, they loved God, and they know they were going to be okay. So, definitely faith was a big one as well. Yeah.
What do you miss the most about your mom?
Uh, I wish I had more time now. And I think you hear that a lot about when people pass because you just think you have all the time in the world to go back and sit with them and talk about when they were younger and what they did and the things that just things that I would have probably if I had more time now, I would have asked her. Like I didn't and I did know her I did ask a lot of questions, but there's always those other ones like laugh more with her or go and do more things with her because she didn't do anything for herself. I didn't take her to go get her nails done. She didn't like to do things. She didn't want to do like she was one of those like don't spend the money on me, spend it, here's money for yourself. And I wish I could take that back and do that with her more and let her know that she is important. Self-care is important. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. Like think the things now that I tell everybody else now in our business is, you have to take care of yourself. And those are things that I wish that I could have done more with her and been able to talk to her about it and know that she's special and just so many things that I wish that I can go back and do.
We were kind of talking a little bit about this before we started recording, and that all the material stuff means nothing in the end, right? On your final days, what you miss the most is just time, being together.
She used to do so much with us. She used to go to our gym. I was a gymnast, so she would go to my competitions and she was always there and she was always rooting for me. And she always, even if I didn't do well, she would say, okay, next time. She always said positive things and never kind of said anything like that would be like, make me feel like I wasn't good enough. She always was very positive, but she always went to whatever games, baseball games, and she always did all the things. So she never worried about anything but the family. And like you said, materialistic. I mean, we didn't come from much, but we had family. And it's unfortunate that the family now is just so separated, you
Mm.
know. She was our glue.
She was matriarch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did she see the salt caves? Was she able to? She never got to see it.
She passed away in February of 24 and we opened in May of 24.
What do you think she'd think of it if she could see it now?
I think she would love it because we're creating all the rooms are being created in a fiction like she's reading a book. So all my rooms will have like something fictional. So I have my caves. I have a room called the observatory, which is all the different planets. So it's dark in there with all the stars. And all the other rooms will be created with some type of theme. So, so I think she kind of find it pretty cool
Aw,
that, in memory of my mom.
I'm sure she'd be very proud
Yeah.
of you. So you and your husband both had careers as police officers. That's
Yes.
pretty cool. In New York?
On Long Island, yeah.
Wow. How did that experience of serving and protecting shape the way you approached this new mission?
Oh my goodness, that was the best job I have ever had. It was amazing.
Being a police officer was the best job?
Oh, it was the best job.
Why'd you stop?
Injury.
You had an injury.
Yeah, I had an injury. You see all walks of life. And you really kind of take a step back and say to yourself, you're fortunate, you're blessed. Because there's a lot of people out there that really don't have anything. It really gave me a new, different perspective about life and being able to be in people's lives, helping them because that's the only reason why they're calling the police because they need help, right? So being able to approach people with a kind heart and understand where they are, I love that.
Mm.
I love being able to help people. So it really helped me with that same perspective, knowing that when people are coming through to right now into Salt Caves, they're coming because they're looking to be heard. They're looking to get better, right? They're on a journey of wellness. So I kind of look at them, what can I do for you? How can I help you? So,
Mhm.
and I love to be on the journey with them. So you're not just a number. I want to know you. I want you to know that we're here for you. So I kind of like that relationship.
Did you always want to be a police officer?
I did. My father was a police officer. He worked on Rikers Island. Actually, he was a correction officer. My uncle was a New York City detective, and I've had another uncle. So yeah, I kind
Wow.
of followed my dad's footsteps.
Did you ever have a situation where it was scary or something, I mean, bad happened?
Not really. I was fortunate.
Good.
I think that there was things in there that I didn't think was very scary or anything. It's just you do what you got to do. So I didn't approach anything like that.
Okay.
Because anything can go sideways if you know what I mean? You can go into a situation that's completely harmless, and it can turn into something bad. I did have one car stop that was kind of crazy, and the way I handled it with my partner, I think that we got out of a possible situation, and after I left that car stop, I found out that he had multiple, like, pages upon pages of attempted murder and all of these different things. But again, it's how you approach a situation, how you talk to people. You respect people, people are going to respect you. So we're really, and that's in everything that I do.
Yeah.
I believe that everybody should be treated the same way that I want them to be treated. So I thank God that I got out of that situation. But there was a lot of different things that I witnessed that I would never want people to. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's something that you carry, but
I can't imagine. How many years were you a police officer?
I did 17 completely with the police department, because I worked for them prior. I was a cadet. I was in a program first, and then I went over into, the police department side of it, so 17 years with the same department, so,
Wow.
yeah.
That's great. That's great. Then after that, you owned an edible arrangements,
Yes,
right? For
so
15
for
years.
15 years.
All right. Tell me about that. It was again centered around helping people.
Yeah, so I was a gymnast. I loved working out. So fruit was like, my husband had a major surgery where he lost his ability to use his right foot. So he has a drop foot, and he was sitting home and watching the baby, and I was working, and I was like, why don't we open a business? And he's like, what do you mean open a business? And I was like, well, I just was driving and I saw this sign and it said edible arrangements. And I went in there and it's all about fruits. And, it's great because I love nutrition and I want to watch what I eat because I'm going to be competing because I did fitness and everything like that. So fruit was up my alley. So even though I only knew a little bit about it, I was like, fruit is good, so let's do a business.
We like fruit.
We like fruit. So, yeah, so we did. We all,
So
we
you opened
went
a
into the business.
franchise.
We went into a franchise, and we
Was
did
that
have
you must have done pretty well if you had it for
15
15
years.
years,
We
yeah.
actually, we sold we sold it in 22. It was the highest. We got the highest bid for ours out of all the stores on Long Island. So we did really well. We were the number one store for a very long time. We created it from nothing, and it did really
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
People really came to us from all over. They loved our service.
It's such a fun gift to send,
Yeah, in the
right?
beginning, my husband didn't understand it. People were like, "What do you mean, like edible underwear? Like, what do you mean edible arrangements?" People didn't really understand
Yeah, what is it
what it was
exactly?
because
Yeah.
back then in 2008 is when we started that journey. Um, and people just didn't really know what it was. So it was very interesting to hear hear the comments what people were saying.
I'm sure. Can I have one shaped like
Yes.
dot, dot,
Oh,
dot?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's funny. So at what point did your idea become we're actually going to open a wellness spa? When did you say, I'm like, this is what's going to happen? I guess when you saw that thing on the internet and said,
I saw a picture of it and I was like, "What is that? Okay,
what's a
that's
salt
kind
cave?
of
You had
cool."
never been to a salt cave before?
Never went to no,
No.
no. And now that I know about it, there were some on Long Island. They're all up north. I didn't even know that it existed until I came down here, and I'm like, "Oh my god, they were right under my nose, and I didn't
Wow.
even know."
Yeah. So you've never, I mean, before this, you weren't into red light therapy or none of the holistic
No,
hacks that they have nowadays.
no. I mean,
Okay.
just working out because I was a gymnast,
Right.
working out and
Yeah.
the weights and the whole thing, but
Yeah.
really it wasn't that big. Red light, I think, has really become more the last
Red
few
light has
years.
become big
It's
and
cold
it's
plunges.
becoming
But cold
big.
plunges, I do know that I've always heard of people, like, going
Saunas.
into, the ocean. You ever hear, like, people do
Yes.
those polar
Polar
things?
plunge.
But I didn't really understand why they were doing that. I
Yeah.
mean, besides, I guess they were raising money.
Right. It was just a charity thing,
A
right? A
charity
lot of
thing.
times they do it in the new year. They did it I'm from Maine, so they did it in Maine a lot on New Year's Day when
Yeah.
they would all run, and it was very cool.
Yes, yes.
Like ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, why would anybody wanna jump into a
But yeah,
cold barrel or
I know.
anything
Have
like
you
that?
done it?
So, no.
I've done it, and the longest I've been able to handle it's about 3 minutes.
Oh,
It's cold. Your whole body gets numb, and I don't know. So I have a girlfriend that does it regularly now, and I said, "Have you really noticed any benefits?" She goes, "I don't know. You can't really tell. I don't know how long you have to do it to really tell
it
if."
depends because if you're somebody who's got an injury or, who has a lot of inflammation,
Yeah.
you're gonna see a difference,
Okay.
But also people are doing it just for biohacking.
Yeah.
Biohacking is a big thing right
It
now.
is a big
So
thing.
everyone's doing it just to gain, like, time, like their age, right?
Right.
There's people who are 60 and because they're doing all of these things, their age really now is maybe like 40,
Yeah.
like they're trying to be versed age now.
Right.
So biohacking is pretty big. They're using the red light and they're doing the infrared saunas, cold plunges and all the things. So, and salt therapy is actually one of those as well. So, yeah, it's really about kind of reclaiming the years.
That's fascinating. So salt does the same thing.
Salt is great for the respiratory. So you're literally trying to keep inflammation down. You're trying to kill anything that might be going on in there, dry up any fluids. We're breathing in so much crap right now. Excuse the word.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I've heard worse. I've heard worse.
We're breathing in all this stuff. And, a lot of people are like, why would I go into a salt room? I was like, well, is your respiratory like an important system in your body? I mean, you need to breathe, right? So they're like, yeah, I guess I never thought of it like that. You do exercise for your heart, right? So why not keep your respiratory system clean without any, whatever fluids and keeping the inflammation down, allowing more oxygen in?
So now that you're bringing that up, how often should someone go into the salt therapy? Do you have into a salt room? Do you have a monthly membership where people come once a month? How often, how do you get the most benefit from it?
Well, depending on the reason. So people who have like a lot of allergies, they come in, or they can come in every day. So it's not something that there's an overload or anything like
Mhm.
that. It's like going to the beach. The difference between the beach, because there's salt air in the beach at the beach, it's moist. This is a dry salt, so it's a little
Okay.
different.
Yeah.
But people can come every day. Some people just come for maintenance, so they'll come like 2 or 3 times a week. But the ones who really need it, like the allergies, asthma, sinus issues, especially like when the weather changes, I mean, we get people come in all the time and they just spend every day they're there and it really helps them.
Okay.
You stay on top of it, it's better as opposed to be proactive than reactive.
Yeah. So do you sell memberships though, or is it just that you
Yes.
pay as you go?
No, it's all membership. We just redid our memberships. Actually, we just changed our name. We did a whole bunch of different things to try and, because we're hoping that we can continue to evolve and then have all the locations.
And
So,
more locations.
software, and now we have new membership tiers.
What's the new name?
Halo House.
Halo House. We were just about to talk about what halotherapy is. So
Yeah.
for people who've never heard of it, what is halotherapy the same as salt therapy?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So, and that's why we went with the name Halo House, is because halo in Greek is salt. So it's a salt house.
Oh, okay.
So halotherapy, known as salt therapy. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So what benefits have you personally experienced in the salt caves?
Learning how to relax. It took me a long time to sit for more than 15 minutes. I couldn't sit. I am
You're
I,
type A, you're a
I
police
am tech.
officer. You're
I
on
can't
alert all the time.
I can't sit.
Right? Yeah.
I couldn't sit.
I can imagine.
And what's nice about it is being able to go in there and learn how to sit and allow your body to relax. Because believe it or not, when you're able to teach your body to relax like that, when you go home, your body will know it's time to relax. You shut the lights off because it's nice and dim in there. Your body will, you're kind of teaching it to do that. So for people who don't know who don't sleep well, who take an hour before before their eyes will even shut, or they're doing the wrong thing, they're watching their phones and everything, but they have to teach the body to know when it's time to go to bed so that the body will then shut itself down and you'll get that nice deep breath.
So you're able to now sit in there and
I'm able
be at peace for 45 minutes?
and actually close my eyes. So it was 15 minutes before I got up, and I don't even know if it was 15 minutes. I'm walking around trying to look at my cave, look at what they built.
That's fun.
Or just staring up at the ceiling, trying to figure out, okay, maybe they could have done this, or like that whole trying to rewire and restructure. And I'm like, oh, I should have put a screen over here. And I'm just like, oh my God, why can't I just focus? And it really kind of made me figure out, like, oh, I got an issue here. Like, I don't know how to relax. And I'm at that fight or flight.
Yeah.
That's where I live.
Yeah.
And for my body, for anybody, in order for your body to restore itself, it needs to come out of there. It needs to come out of fight or flight. So you can eat well, you can exercise, but if you're stressed out, you're still going to have a lot of issues. You're not going to get to where you need to go.
Oh, stress is one of the worst things for your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people don't even realize they're under stress a lot of times. Because they're so, like you said, you're so used to living in that fight or flight place.
Yeah.
You don't even realize you're there.
It's normal. It's
and
it's sad that it's normal. But if you go to all these other different countries, try France, try Spain. They all have it built into their lifestyle. Italy stops in the middle of the day, and what do? You can't go to a restaurant because it's all about family. They sit down together, they watch their TV, they play their soccer. And I'm sitting there waiting for them to finish. I'm like, there's 7 people here. You're gonna lose 7 people to dinner. And they don't care about that. It wasn't about the money. It was about, it's time for family. It's time for me. It's time, so I found that really interesting. And I didn't even know that at the time because I didn't have a wellness center. And now that I look back, I'm like, oh my goodness, that is so weird.
Yeah. They're way far ahead of us when it comes to wellness.
And their life expectancy is at least 10 years longer than ours. So when you go to Japan, they have this whole routine, breathing and moving with I was just like, oh my goodness, we are really not doing what we're supposed to do. But you know what? We're in that thought pattern, like the more you do, the more you get, the more you have, like we just go. You got to make the money. You got to, so it's like.
It's our culture.
That's our culture. And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Not good.
But to your point, and I always say, if we don't take care of our wellness, eventually we're going to be paying for our illness.
That's correct.
So either way, what are you going to invest in?
That's right. And when you're able to kind of relax and allow your body and take care of yourself, you're actually able to pour into others much better than you were to be half full or, half empty or whatever. You see your cup.
Exactly. So So much of wellness today is reactive, which we just talked about. You're encouraging people to care for themselves before illness happens. Why do we struggle to do that?
It's just what we're taught.
Just what we're taught.
We are taught
Just
just
go, go, go.
it's definitely what we're taught. Well,
Yeah.
and especially, from where I grew up and not having much, the first thing you wanna do is to be able to not be in that same place, right? So
Right.
you wanna keep, I don't wanna be there, I don't wanna be there, so you push, 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 and then you're teaching your kids to do the same thing, to grind, to keep pushing yourself and not to ever fall back, and, so I just think it's generational. It's just
I think it's generational. I also think sometimes we feel selfish, don't we?
and
Like
we're
we,
very selfish, like
we,
a
yeah, we feel bad for wanting to take 45 minutes to ourselves because we're told, okay, well, you have to work out at the gym for an hour. You have to meditate for 20 minutes every day. Now you want to add going to the salt caves. So you do, when you start thinking about all the things that society is telling us we should be doing,
yeah,
it all seems selfish. And, when you're young and raising kids, and, I remember not doing anything for myself when my kids were little,
yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah,
you just don't I was the last one on the totem pole, which was fine. It was that season of life for me. But yeah, now it's like you do have to reflect on, okay, I'm tired. And what am I going to do to rejuvenate myself, right?
exactly. And it's like I would say that I remember the age. I tell everybody this. I remember 25, and then, oh my God, I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
What happened here? I don't
Where'd
even
it go?
know where'd it go.
Yeah.
The kids are out, and now it's like, since having the place, it's like it's time for me to do what I need to do for myself. And
Yeah.
I thank God that I'm able to do that, because some people don't have
Right.
that time, because they already are sick. They already have multiple issues, and now it's like they're trying to scramble to try and figure what can I do to kind of do, to fix
Yeah.
what I've allowed to
Well,
happen for years.
and to your point, I mean, we talked about it earlier. I'm 60 years old and I have already lost several friends to cancer who are my age or younger
Wow.
that I've already lost from people that I've gone to high school with or people I knew from back home. And yeah, it's shocking to me how young, and a lot of them are women, young women
Wow.
dying of breast cancer or ovarian cancer, or yeah, it's sad. But you just never know when your time is up, right? So you have
It's
to
true.
do your best to take care of yourself while you're here.
Stay on top of, a lot of people that come through my door actually don't, because they're holistic, like they don't want any medicine or anything. They haven't taken blood work. They haven't done any of the things.
Yeah.
They just rely on just trying to eat right and so forth. So,
Yeah. And I'm also a wellness coach, and I don't think half of us are eating right. We think we are.
yeah, that's true.
We think we are. No, I mean, because we don't, I don't know. I think there's a lot of misinformation. This is a whole
Oh,
separate topic. There's
yes.
a lot of misinformation about what's healthy and what isn't, and what we should be eating and what we shouldn't be eating. And
Hmm.
I'm not going to go into it all on this
Yeah,
podcast,
there's a
but
lot.
there's a lot. And I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of labels on foods that are misleading.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of marketing, on the media that kind of sways people different ways. And yeah, I think for me, I think talking about holistic, if you eat holistically as well, meaning eating whole food, then you're going to be better off than most people. Because I think a lot
Cook
of
your food.
cook your food and know
That's
where
the
it's
main
coming
thing.
from if
Know
you
where it's coming
can.
from. Yep.
If you can, yeah, absolutely. Don't eat out of a box, people.
No.
Don't eat out of a box. Stress and anxiety are at an all-time high. Do you think people are craving spaces where they can simply slow down and breathe?
I think so.
Yeah.
And that is our goal, to create spaces where people can go and relax. So there's so much in wellness coming up right now. Oh my goodness, it's exploded.
Yeah.
There's so many
Oh,
different
it's a
types.
billion-dollar industry,
Oh
isn't it?
my goodness, there's
Yeah.
so many, so many places now.
So your spa isn't just about salt therapy, it's about creating a safe haven. Why does environment matter so much to healing?
People need to feel safe. There's so many people that they want to know you care. They're not a number. Connection,
Yeah.
safety. A lot of people trust you. When they trust you, they feel more comfortable. And when they walk in, they're like, their guard kind of comes down, and that's when they really find their healing from that. I have so many people that come in, they've just said, I love coming here because I feel so comfortable, and I love hearing that.
Yeah.
They love coming and talking with me. I know their name. I know what's going on with the cat. I know what's going on with the dogs. I know that they are going away, and it's like having another friend. So I like that.
Oh, that's great. So many people are looking for that nowadays. So we talk a lot on this podcast about connection and belonging. Do you think healing happens better in community than in isolation?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially you don't want to go through something, whatever you're going through, you want to know you have your tribe, that you have your community.
Yeah.
That's important to
Yeah.
know that you matter.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because there was a study done on this very topic that a doctor was saying that he would visit patients in the hospital, and the ones that had visitors or somebody by their bedside did so much better than the ones that were alone all the time. They would tend to pass a lot or get sicker a lot quicker than the ones that had support and love around them. So it makes sense.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
definitely.
It's so important in this day and age. Have you seen people come into the spa carrying emotional pain and leave somehow lighter?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I have people that have cancer that come in and um they know my story, my our story, and they kind of feel connected, and I'm able to talk with them, and I love telling them that, like, you're going to be okay. I tell them that because I want them to know that I'm praying for them, that I'm here for them, that the space is here, like this place is here for them to come in. But I think overall that the connection, I love that connection that they're able to talk with me about what's going on. And then they leave, they're like, I'm so happy that I came.
Aw.
And I like that. I like hearing that.
Yeah,
So
create
they
the
come in
space.
with this burden, right? And I think of my mother, what sh this what's on their what's going on in their mind, and they leave kind of like, "I'm gonna be alright no matter what. I'm gonna be okay." So I like
Oh, that's
that.
beautiful. What's one lesson grief has taught you about living?
I think we talked about this right before.
We did.
I wanna make sure that it's not about what I have or anything. I want people to know who I am. I think I was listening to this, I don't know if it was a podcast or radio, and he says, "When we go, your whole life is gonna be in like 200 words or 100 word on your obituary. And what is that going to say? Like, how do you want it to read? So grief for me, I say that I know it's going to happen. Your love, it's going to happen. And how do you deal with it? And how do you want people to know who you are when it's your turn, when it's your time? And you want your loved ones to, be around you, and you want to make sure that they know that that I have given. That, how do you say, I hope they know that I do truly care, and I love my family, and I mean, I just want them to know that I hope that I did what I was meant to do while I was here. So I take my grief, and I've learned so much about what I want to leave behind. And Um, like my mom, I took my pain, and I put it into others, and I try to help them with theirs. And I don't know. I don't even know if I even answered that question correctly, but I just feel like you could take it and you could do something good with the grief. So I'm hoping that I live my life like that. That I
Yeah.
hope that I can leave my love for others
I,
behind.
I already know you do. I already know you do. I've seen you in action. And you might not think people are watching, but people are watching, and people do have a lot of love and respect for you.
Oh,
So you're already there.
I appreciate
How are you going to make me cry? I
it.
can't cry on my own show, but I want to. All right. Our final five, our joyful moments. We're going to bring joy back into this. All right. Number one, what brings you joy right now?
My family. My family.
Tell me about your family. We haven't talked about. You have
I have
children?
five children.
Right.
We're a combined family. So I've been with my husband now 30 years. So he had two, I had two, and then we had one together. So
Okay.
number five is we're now we're now by ourselves. So number 5 went into the Navy and she's living in Japan. So I'm extremely proud of her. So she's 20 years old and she's on her journey. I have
Mhm.
the 2 kids that are in the police department. So one's a detective and one's a sheriff. So I'm super proud. And then the third one is actually she does cybersecurity, like forensics with computers and
Oh my
everything. So that's
gosh.
kind of really
That's
cool.
cool.
And, I have the last one, he loves medicine, so he's kind of trying to figure his way through school and medicine and so forth. So
Mhm.
my kids are I really did a I re really redirected my life to my family and my friends and my faith. Faith is my first very, very top of my list because without God, I don't know where I would be. So I think that that's my important right now.
I love that. And number 2, what do you wish more people understood about caring for someone with cancer?
I'm sorry, say it again.
What do you wish more people understood
About for
about caring for people with cancer?
Okay, so, to understand that patient, you have to be patient
Yeah,
because they're not gonna wanna do what you wanna do, because my mom didn't wanna do what I wanted her to do, and it's a struggle for them. They're struggling inside because they're also trying to figure out, "What can I do to get rid of this? Why me?" All the different questions. So, understanding and putting yourself I'm gonna say in their shoes and understand what they're going through, right?
mhm,
To and taking that and being patient with them and loving them, letting them know, reassuring them, no matter what, I'm here for you. I love you. You're gonna be okay. And I think that's the best thing that I can say is stay with them. They need you. They need to know that they're scared. Stay with them.
beautiful advice. Number 3, what is one act of self-care that everyone should practice?
Do something.
Do
No matter do
something.
something for yourself. Go and have your hair done. Go and do your nails. Spend an hour just by yourself. Get away from everybody, read a book, whatever. Do something for yourself. Get a massage. Spend the money on yourself. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
exactly.
okay. We spend our money on pocketbooks, extreme, on all these materialistic things. And we don't even think twice
No,
about spending the money on those things.
right.
But you want to spend $100 on a massage or spend $45 to get your nails done, whatever the price is. You're like, I don't really want to do that. So why you don't value yourself
Yeah,
is so strange,
I agree.
right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. Number 4, if you could sit down with your mother and mother-in-law for 1 more hour, what would you say?
I want to watch her favorite shows. I would say, let's go to lunch. I would say, let's go get your hair done. Let's go get your nails done. I would say, what do you want to do actually? Instead of saying what I want to do, I want to say, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Whatever you want, it's on me. Do you want to travel? Do you want, I think they both never were asked, what do they want? Because they always did for everyone else. And I wonder sometimes, I wonder if she ever wanted that to be asked. Mm. Did maybe she was thinking, why doesn't anybody ask me what I want to do? Or how come I was never invited to do this or do that? Or, like those questions. I know. And these are the things that I would love to talk to her about. Like, what was your dream that you never got, that never came to fruition? You know?
That's a good question. That's a good point. We should ask more people, what do you want? Because we tend to be so caught up in what we want or what we think other people want, right?
That's right.
But we never actually ask them, what do you want?
No.
And what can I do for you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. It's true. It's a wake up call right there. It's an aha moment.
Yeah. I mean, especially
Yeah.
it's your mother. So you always, as we get older, we don't know anything. I mean, she doesn't know anything. We know everything, right? As we get older,
Yeah,
you're
we
like,
know
"Mom, you don't know what you're
everything. Yeah, I
talking
don't know
about."
what you're talking about. Yeah,
Until
different
you're
generation. Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
until we got older, we're like, "Oh, now I know what she's talking about." As we got older, you start thinking of the things that your mother tried to teach you and everything like that. But even when she was going through what she was going through, it was like, "What can I do what can I do for her? What can I do?"
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of
uh,
what do you need me
"What do
to
you
do?
need me to
Yeah.
do?"
Yeah.
And it was that same moment that my mother said, that somebody told me, like, "Why don't you she doesn't wanna do anything. Why don't you just respect that she doesn't wanna do the therapy?" Because of course, I'm like, "You gotta do it, you can't leave us. I don't want you to go anywhere. You have to stay here. You're young. You need you." And, that was really difficult for me to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. One final question. When you look back at your own life, how do you hope you're remembered?
Mm, I'm funny. I'm silly, quirky. I want people to know me as a person that, I'm real. Like, I am very sincere with my heart. Like I wear my heart on my sleeve. Unfortunately, I'm a giver. I sometimes too much, but doesn't change who I am even when things don't go right. I it's just I want people to just know me as somebody who always will help out no matter what. I would be that 3 o'clock in the morning phone call.
Yeah, we talked about that before we started recording. I said, we're lucky if we have friends in our lives who are close enough and know us well enough and love us enough to, if something were to be tragically wrong, that they would pick up the phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning if we needed them to. And I was saying to Myra, I think I can think of maybe two people that I could count on to answer the phone. So that's beautiful that you think you could be one of them or would want to be one of them because it's a rare gift when you have that person in your life who you know without question when the shit hits the fan, they're going to show up for you.
Yeah,
Yeah. I did another podcast with a former Marine who he was involved in the movie 13 Hours. He was one of the guys who was a subcontractor who was over in Benghazi in fighting and ended up losing his arm and other things. And that's what he said in the show too. He said, even with this brotherhood of men, he goes, you are the greatest gift is when you have that person or persons who will be there for you, and it's not always the people you expect.
that's right.
That's the other thing.
It's true.
It's oftentimes the people that you aren't thinking of that will be there when the call comes in. So anyway, I'm sure that that's a beautiful thing to think of that you would want to be that person, and I love that. I love that. So before I close, I want to tell our listeners how they can find you at Salt Caves. So you have a new website?
Haven't It's the same website. It's the Salt Caves, LWR.com.
Okay. And we won't give the phone number, but I can put the link in our show notes. So if you have trouble finding it, you can. And need to make an appointment ahead of time
Yes.
to come? Okay.
Yes. So this way we make sure that we can get you.
Get everything in. Excellent. And you're open 7 days a week or?
We're closed on Tuesdays, but we're growing, so we're probably going to open 7 days, and we're going to be adding some hours as well.
Okay. Exciting things to come at the Soul Cave. Well, cancer changes families forever. It teaches us that time is precious, that health can never be taken for granted, and that sometimes the greatest gift we can offer someone isn't a cure. It's comfort, presence, and hope. Myra Maldonado took one of life's most painful experiences and transformed it into a mission to help others breathe easier, slow down, and feel cared for. And maybe that's a lesson for all of us today. Pain doesn't have to be the end of the story. Sometimes it's the beginning of purpose. Because life is fragile, our people are precious, and healing often starts with something as simple as creating a space where someone feels safe, seen, and cared for. Myra, thank you for sharing your heart and for reminding us that even in our deepest grief, we still have the power to create hope for someone else. And to everyone listening, don't wait to take care of yourself. Don't wait to tell someone you love them. And don't wait to create moments of peace and connection because the joy really is in the hang. Until next time.